right, well, call the meeting to order. This is the January 28th meeting of the Upton Conservation Commission. First agenda item is the RDA for 30 Pearl Street, replacement of a septic system. Mary, do you have the public notice for that? Can
Yes.
you read it, please?
Request for determination of applicability filed by Thomas Waltz for the repair of a failed septic system at 30 Pearl Street. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Wetlands Protection Act that the Upton Conservation Commission will hold the following public hearing on Wednesday, January 28th.
Is everyone here?
And actually, because you're here for 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is anyone here for 30 Pearl?
No, there does not appear to be. It was Cornerstone Engineering. We can go forward with most of it. It's relatively simple.
Okay, could you run us through it?
Yeah.
Walk us through it.
Pull up.
Now, question Q&A.
Hey, Chris. Okay, you want to just just keep your phone on speaker and can you hear me right now? All right, I'll run the meeting and just try to listen in through the phone, okay? I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Did you try to log in again online? No? So are you there? Can you see us? Okay. You can see us, but you can't hear us. Well, let's try to see if you can hear me through the phone, hear us through the phone.
All right, so this is 30 Pearl Street. If you can see it up there. This is a replacement of a septic system. Pretty much going in the same spot. Actually, I'm not the engineer. I don't know where the old one was, but I believe it was about here. This is the house. It's on the corner of Sheffield and Pearl Streets. And there's a wetland back here, pretty large wetland with intermittent stream. House is relatively close to the wetland. It's about 20 feet off at this closest point here. And then it's, still. Oh, there's 2 Chris's. Anyway. So I think it's pretty straightforward. The septic, if you can see, the 100-foot buffer line is right here. So most of the septic field itself, the leach field is out of the 100-foot buffer. Here's the septic tank. It's within the buffer. They put in erosion controls for all around the area, and the house is kind of between some of the work and the wetland. I think my only thought with this one is, you know, this property had a house on it, I don't know, for a long time, and then they rebuilt entirely in 2006. So I think you could say it falls under the bylaw because of that. The old house was completely torn down. We may want to recommend putting bounds in here. The backyard, they've kind of let grow wild. That's what's going on in the backyard.
Where would you put bombs?
So there's this whole section here is lawn. I think you might want to put bounds just off the back of the house because I don't know if they're selling or what, but you might buy this house and say, oh, I want to expand my backyard. I don't know. We wouldn't have to, if you do put bounds, I think you need a lot because the wetland line goes all the way down here. Let me see.
What kind of a wetland?
So it's, we have bordering vegetated wetland. Here's a picture of the wetland.
Wooded or?
It's wooded.
But it looks like it has some virgin wetland in front of it too.
This, they said
What's
that
that?
there was, some emergent grasses in it. In the spring, I believe, along the stream, there's a little intermittent stream that's maybe 20 feet back from there. There's a bunch of skunk cabbage in there. So. Yeah, and the wetland does go into this grassy area to some extent. I did note this in the report, because everything was frozen, I could look at the vegetation, but I did not check the soils at all. I assume it's okay, but if we put bounds in, I think I'd want to verify the wetland line spring. before we
Sure.
put bounds in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that the applicant would be here so we could talk about whether that was appropriate. Here's another view of the wetland, just from the lawn. So you can see there's a fair bit of, the wetland goes all the way along this edge of the lawn.
And I think bounds are appropriate.
Well, the applicant's not on. Why don't if there's not any other comments on this, why don't we continue the hearing? And then you can talk to them about that, what bounds, commission on bounds. Maybe they could, maybe you and the applicant could work, just by word bound. Good job. Chris can hear you.
She said she could hear it.
Okay, Chris, I heard that, and I'm gonna hang up on you so we don't get a echo here.
You sure she's not hearing Mary through that phone line?
Well, the thing is, there's supposedly 2 Chris's locked in. I'm not sure which one to run, that's why we're getting feedback.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Well, I'm gonna take a chance and hang up on you, Chris, and if.
you can ask her, the real Chris, to hold her hand up, I mean, you know.
That's true, Chris, can you
Yeah.
raise your hand?
Yeah.
She can hear me. On the raise your hand feature, of course. That's the only thing she can do, because she can't talk right now.
She might not be able to hear us now. I think she was hearing Mary through my phone.
Right.
Could have been.
Yeah,
You know, you could nuke
Oh.
both Chris's and have her log in again.
yeah.
If she can't raise the hand, so you know which one is the real one, and which one is a phantom.
That's the other Chris, just to identify himself. Next item.
Sounds like she's trying to talk.
Chris, are you there?
Chris, I'm trying to promote one of you to panelist. If you see this, then do it. If you don't, then we'll know it's the wrong one.
I don't see. I see that.
Well, I would
Yeah,
just close,
it is.
yeah, we could close both sessions and have her retry.
All right, Chris, now can you try talking?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay,
Are you-
finally. Next time I'm going in there, how cold it is. Right.
Chris, I already explained, this is my fault. I'm the one who talked you out of coming in. We'll come in, if there's a blizzard next time, we'll hook up Cooper to a sled and we'll get in.
Okay, you ready for, or I guess we need a motion to,
Okay, yeah.
Continue.
Chris, I can continue to run the meeting. Is that all right? Chris,
or maybe she wants to take over after this one.
can you hear us, Chris?
Now, of the new people here, is anyone here for 30 Pearl?
Okay,
Yeah, that's great.
Chris, can you hear us?
She's muted.
He's muted.
All right, well, she works
There
it.
we go.
I think I'm on-
Chris,
Yes, I'm unmuted now.
no, we can hear you now.
Okay,
Okay, but if you don't mind, I'll run the meeting because you're kind of faint.
go right ahead.
We can hear you, but it's hard to understand.
Okay. Go right
Okay,
ahead.
all right. Okay, thanks, Chris. All right, so need a motion to continue the RDA for 30 Pearl Street until our next meeting.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call vote, Mike, aye.
Tom, I.
Alan, I.
Chris, I.
Sandy, I. Marcella, I.
Okay, that's unanimous vote. Okay, Mary, do you have a date and time for that?
Let's see. The date would be February 11th, and we could do 7:15.
Thanks. Okay, let's okay, move on to the next agenda item, which is an RDA for 9 Claflin Farm Road. Installation of Mr. Pool continued from January 14th.
Great, so the applicant is here and we've had a little bit of back and forth since the last meeting. We have updated plans and I can pull them up. All right, so last time we kind of left it that we were hoping the pool could be moved a little bit. And we asked for a dry well to be added. And then the other thing was I was supposed to talk with Lobiser and see kind of what they were willing to do. And Lobiser is happy to install the bound that's missing and put in a few shrubs. And then the fence, the applicant would like the fence moved to be on the outside of the mountains because of her. So it looks like the fence, and correct me, the fence is just gonna go around the pool now instead of going as far as it did, is that correct?
Generally, that's just for the pool, I mean, not the exact, the fence, not just the fence around the pool, right there.
Okay, right, because she had a big fence around this whole area, so I'm just, is she gonna just get rid of the larger part?
I'm not sure, I know she kind of has it up in the air right now with that.
Okay, she's thinking
Yes.
about that. But at any rate, the pool is slightly smaller, right?
Yes, the pool, so we reduced it from a 32 by 16 to 30 by 15, moved it over 2 feet.
Yeah.
And then we also took 5 feet off and left also on the decking, so
Right.
it was 7 feet off of it in 1 foot in width.
And I see you're using pervious pavers around the pool, which is great, so
We
try to
can,
get some infiltration that way.
yeah, we can, yeah.
It's perfect. So I think it's probably improved as much as you think it can be improved.
Yeah.
So I think it's just up to the board to, recommend a waiver for so that how many square feet again were within the
194,
194 of disturbance
With-
within the
correct.
no build,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, any discussion from the commission? A motion to allow the disturbance within the no build zone?
Yeah, a motion to issue a variance for disturbance within the no build.
I make
So, second,
Okay, that's been, motions made and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote, Mike, aye.
Tom, I.
Alan, I.
Chris,
Yeah.
I.
Sandy, I.
Shannon and I.
Marcella, I.
Okay, that's unanimous vote. So, do we need to,
A motion to
Vote
issue
to close the
negative,
hearing?
yeah, and issue a negative
Issue a
determination.
The negative, what number?
So it's negative, 3.
I'll make a motion to, close the hearing for 9 Claflin Road, the RDA hearing for 9 Claflin Road. And issue a negative determination, -3.
I second that.
Seconded by Chris. Any discussion? And hearing none, roll call vote, Mike, aye.
Tom, I.
Alan, I.
Chris, I.
Sandy, I.
Shannon and I.
Marcella, I.
All right, thank you. All set.
Yeah, so I'll get you paperwork, probably within a week,
Excellent, no problem. I'll make sure. Do you need the pervious paper selection that we choose for, or?
or whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I do ask for is, and actually you don't have erosion controls on the plan, but that'll be in the conditions. Erosion controls along the fence there, just so that there won't be a disturbance in the wetland. I
Okay,
do inspection beforehand, and then once everything's done.
okay, beautiful, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, next is, it was on for 720, RV 130 South Street, proposed 4-lot subdivision. With the work apparently is all outside of the wetland resource areas. Mary, could you please read the public?
Yeah. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Wetlands Protection Act that the Upton Conservation Commission will hold the following public hearing on Wednesday, January 28th. At 7:20 PM, a request for determination of applicability filed by John O'Connor to confirm the work for a proposed 4-lot subdivision is outside wetland resource areas at 130 South Street. Great.
I'm in San Francisco.
Yeah.
John, would you like me to share my screen or would you like to do that? Or
I have a copy of the plan. If you would like me to share, if it's easier for you, by all means, go ahead.
why don't you go ahead, John? Be
Sure.
great.
One moment here. Alrighty. So in front of us here, we have the existing conditions plan for the existing lot at 130 South Street. In its entirety, it's just under 12 acres total. For this proposal, we are essentially looking to construct a 4-lot subdivision, 1 existing lot, and then 3 new lots here. And during the filing for this, Mary had conducted a review, and essentially where our cul-de-sac area was, and it's a little clearer to see on the existing conditions plan. I'll just bring that back up here, which that end of the cul-de-sac is approximately in this area here. There is a depression, and that's where during her review she had seen a few possible wetland indications. So we have worked with Goddard Consultant, and they have gone back out to that area. We checked the uphill side of the stone wall, as well as several spots downhill side. And Goddard, with the report that was filed with this RDA, had determined that there is no existing wetlands in this area. The only other wetlands that we have on site are located uphill of all of our development. And that's in this, I guess if you want to refer to it as the northeastern portion of the site. This point here approximately where my cursor is, to the limit of development, which is approximately where this hatched area is, where my cursor is about 400 to 420 feet away. So we will be well outside of any sort of jurisdiction for our proposal of the subdivision. We do acknowledge that if there was any further developments for this project, particularly on either of those two lots that are past this point, either we'll come back with an RDA, or if we know that we're in any sort of defined buffer zones, we obviously will file a notice of intent for any specific work out there. But as things currently stand for the subdivision, essentially this point right here is our cutoff, and you can see that a little bit more clearly here. That same point is right in this area here, and we're going to be, another 30 plus feet away from that, from our tree clearing. So I'll turn it over to Mary and the board for any other questions. But I believe based on the findings for Goddard, we don't have to do anything additional for a notice of intent filing or anything along those lines.
Yeah, I think really this was, this RDA process was just kind of formalizing, we had asked them to get this wetland review done and they did it. And this is just kind of formalizing it. It is, I think the only thing, if people were really concerned, we could ask a third party consultant, but I don't think I would recommend that.
Any questions or comments from the commission?
This is Chris. I have a comment that is there some way to indicate that there would either with bounds or in paperwork that no further development go past that point where the wetlands are?
Actually, Chris, go ahead, John.
I would just ask in that case, would you be referring to like bounds here or closer to this wetland pocket uphill of us? Just for clarity on that end.
Mary, what would you recommend?
Well, I was just pointing out, this is under planning board review, and one of the things that we recommended to the planning board is that whole upper area, which is not being developed, should be preserved as open space. I know the applicant has asked for a waiver from the open space requirements of the development, and the Conservation Commission is recommending that no waiver be granted because of the vernal pool and because of the outstanding open space features there. But I mean, that the planning board has to determine that.
Thank you.
And
That's a hurdle. Can I, just a moment. So if you could show that again, the other plan.
sure, one moment.
Thank you.
Yes, I was recommending that the potential vernal pool get evaluated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but 100, I'm not sure what the scale of this plan is, but where would about 150 feet from that potential vernal pool end up?
Currently, this buffer line shown here is at 100-foot buffer. So if we're looking at 150 feet, that might fall where this text is shown.
Okay.
Right. So
That's like
it's
half of the area.
right.
Correct?
Yeah, if that whole upper area would be preserved, that would be great.
Yeah.
And
No,
currently
Is
we
it wooded right
It's
now?
wooded, it's beautiful.
So it's wooded, it's likely upland habitat for vernal pool, obligate vernal pool breeders. So, I think the commission should strongly suggest to the planning board that. Okay, John, did you want to say something?
Yeah, currently we are still going in front of the planning board for review. As of Monday, we did receive our second set of peer review comments that we're in the process of addressing. We have tried to discuss with planning board any of the potential waivers, and unfortunately, they are going to be waiting until we get further through peer review before weighing in on those. So I'd be more than happy to follow up with Mary as needed for any type of bounds up in that area. I know if the planning board does not grant the waiver, and they are looking to have an open space parcel, right now, the flattest portion of this site is kind of right up outside or very close to where that 150 foot buffer line would be. So depending on, how that waiver gets worked out, the only development might be of just, kind of clearing up some space to make it a more usable park for the area. But we're not that far through the planning board process yet to fully update the board on this, or sorry, the commission on this.
And this is Chris, where that 150-foot line is. Is that something that can be marked and found?
Yes, we do currently have those wetland flags, at least GPS located as they are shown on our plans. So we can have those refreshed as needed in the field if there aren't any that are left over. And we could have, depending on, where you would like to see it, we could have some stakes put out at the 150-foot mark if we do have to conduct any sort of site visits at that point.
Thank you. Mary, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think bounds could be helpful along there. Even better would be to preserve the whole upper portion.
I don't think the bounds is just going to be preserved.
Right, so, and it's true, there is kind of a flat spot there. There's some rocky outcroppings in there too. I think it's, that it's rugged up there as well.
Yeah, currently in this area here, I do have some known ledge outcroppings, and essentially any of these hatched areas are slopes greater than 20%. So that also could be some potential outcroppings and such mixed in with those areas, which all that does kind of fall right around that 150-foot mark or so. So it is something that we could be amenable to. I just don't have any clear direction yet from the planning board so that we could follow up on if we are definitively going to put in any bounds, or if they're going to seek us to kind of create some type of usable space for the community.
Well, the planning board could just ask you to preserve it as open space without trying to build a park there, some sort of a more active recreation area.
Yeah, and I
That's it,
apologize
because
when I say park, I kind of mean more of like a little bit like a trail system. I do know that there is one trail that we did pick up here that is shown kind of meandering through the site. I'm not sure if to any extent they might try to have us maybe clear a small path to create any secondary or tertiary trails there. But as far as anything goes, we will definitely be able to work with the commission a little bit more closely once we get a little additional feedback from planning board.
Well, could the trail system have access from the cul-de-sac?
Well, if we are being required to put in anything for that, there would have to be some type of access there. As it currently stands, we have not concept or worked out anything for what that trail system might even look like. But it is something that we are kind of keeping in the back of our mind in case that is something that we do have to work out with the planning board and the conservation as well.
But just theoretically, you could have some sort of a trail access off of the cul-de-sac, yes or no?
Yes, potentially we could. In theory, the existing trail kind of meanders kind of where my cursor's following. So we could possibly try to kind of follow this lot line here where there's not really going to be much usable space for development anyway. And we might be able to kind of roughly get a new trail there versus cutting right through the middle of somebody's yard. Unfortunately, anything on this right-hand side here, we are using this as a diversion swale. And then anything outletting over here for the diversion swale. So I wouldn't recommend that area to be utilized for any sort of easements, trails, or anything along those lines.
Well, Mary, what do you recommend we do here? Should we just open until the planning board has a little bit more clarity on what they're doing, or should we close this and then just be available to speak to the planning board during their hearings?
John, what would you like?
So right now for us to kind of address the planning board comments that we've received from peer review, I would like to try to have some type of definitive answer on things. As far as once we know a little bit more about the waiver situation, if they're going to require the open space or not, would that be something that we could potentially come back in front of the board, not under any excuse me, like a direct filing, but as like an open discussion, and then have anything tied into, a planning board approval at that point? Or that's not really something that the commission would be open to?
What if we closed the hearing, but required bounds in the event that the area is not protected as open space? Would that be conditional?
I would be fine with that type of condition if we do need to go that route.
Is that
And the bounds,
wouldn't it be better for us to hear back from the planning board before we close the hearing?
Yeah, I guess there's no real reason to close it right now, I guess, as long as the applicant's willing. I think there's a couple open questions. There's, will they let us, look at the vernal pool to certify it? Will the upper area be protected? And in my mind, and this is something I mentioned in my letter to the planning board, we have a new stormwater law, and according to that, you guys would be exempt from that because you're under subdivision review. However, as I was talking with Mike Antonellis, the subdivision review, they don't have any inspection requirements for erosion controls or anything. Like if under our stormwater bylaw, a much smaller project has erosion control inspection and all this stuff. So I was mentioning to the planning board that maybe they might want to consider that, or wouldn't have to necessarily be through conservation. Maybe they need to hire a independent person to go out and monitor the erosion controls, but there are very steep slopes on this site, and I think that could potentially be a concern for this project. So.
okay, so go ahead.
If I may ask, if the commission is not in favor of closing this out because there still might be some additional feedback from planning that you all might want to consider, Mary, would you be able to issue any sort of memo or anything stating that, your prior concerns about this area being a wetland,
Yes.
Has been alleviated through at least the initial steps of the RDA and can maybe help us get through those planning comments there? I think without having anything like definitive, it might be hard to get some of those comments closed out in the eyes of some of the abutters and peer review.
And perhaps reiterate our hope that the area would be preserved as open space
In the memo.
in the memo.
Yep.
Mike, are you envisioning the open space being open to the public or just to the residents of the development?
I
think
haven't
there's-
thought about it that far. I'm just thinking mostly of upland habitat assuming there's a vernal pool.
Just one
Resources.
comment on that vernal pool, there's a whole bunch of other houses that are already built, they're kind of near it. And people are using that, there's like little floaties and, people have been, I think kids mainly have been playing it. So it's already being kind of used as a recreation area. Maybe it needs potentially more protection if it is a vernal pool. There's a fair bit of, well, not a ton, but there's definitely some trash up there.
Right at the rural pool, we could probably put signs up so the kids don't disturb it.
Right.
That they may not know.
Well, it could, just think ahead, could conceivably be, deeded to the town, but the town really wouldn't have to develop. It could just be left as a
A neighborhood.
Neighborhood.
Yeah,
open space.
I would suggest protecting it as open space and just leaving it alone, not put any trails in or, certify the vernal pool and all, but, as long as it's protected, that's, what the open space bylaw is about.
And then it could have the neighbors could have some access to it, but not the general public.
No, I'm not suggesting that people be kept out, but just saying that we needn't bother developing it. And if the town takes control of it, that puts the onus on us to manage it. And, it's just one more thing to manage.
We have at least one small parcel where we don't really manage it, for trails or anything, but Pixie's Park.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar. It's even smaller than this
It's
property.
small. Yeah.
How big is the area that we're talking about?
In terms of what type of area, like the open space area, or like what the planning board might be looking to require?
Open space area.
I'm not too sure if the commission has any like direct like dimensions or anything that they're looking to achieve out here. I know if we were having to do any sort of potential park or open space like parcel for subdivision, if I recall correctly, I believe they require 10% of the total lots on site. So we might be somewhere around about an acre or so,
Okay, thank you.
at least through the planning board.
Yeah, I think it's more.
Probably more than an acre within 150 feet.
Yeah.
And let me just flip back up to this vernal pool so everybody can see that a little bit more clearly.
Approximately, I can't do this math, 196,000 square feet, so that's at least, might be 5 acres. Yeah, so it's a large area potentially that could be preserved.
So in terms of the hearing, we're going to continue it. Mary will write the memo and we'll continue this hearing until we
And,
want to say a month.
Yeah, that would be fine. Currently, I believe we are going back in front of the board for their first February meeting. I believe that's February 12th, but please don't quote me on that date. So if we wanted to do it for some time around then or after that planning board meeting, I think we might be able to have potentially some more answers. If it's okay for me to continue in case we haven't responded back to planning, we'll obviously make a request to Mary as well for that. And just from my own curiosity here, with this being continued and everything, this is just based on the discussion of the open space. It's not like this is being continued and potentially more comments or anything get opened up down the road, if I'm understanding this correctly.
The only thing that might, is the bound issue, if that's
Okay.
significant. So how about our second meeting in February, which would be the third Wednesday, whatever that day is. Is that okay, John?
Yeah, that would be acceptable for me in that case.
Okay.
Fourth
Fourth
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Fourth, excuse me.
Fourth
Fourth,
Wednesday.
excuse me. Thank you. Yeah, fourth Wednesday.
It's be the 26th.
25th. The 25th.
25th. Thank you, Chris.
Okay, so entertain a motion to continue the RDA for 130 South Street until the 25th of February.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, Mike, aye.
Alan,
Alan, I.
Sandy, I. Shannon, I.
Marcella, I.
Okay, John, thank you.
All right, great. Thank you all so much. I'll be in touch as soon as I do get any feedback from the planning board. And I'm not anticipating to submit responses anytime this week. Mary, at your convenience, whenever you can prep up that menu, I would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
good night.
Good night.
Okay, we're a little bit behind. The next item is discussion of potential fundraiser to replace the sign, I believe at Peppercorn, correct?
Yes. Steve.
Yes, yeah, that's me.
Yes.
Hello, I'm gonna try to not talk too much, but super love to take questions. But hi, my name's Steve. I'm a Milford resident, 32 years old, a former high school science teacher. Milford and Shannon and around the place, environmental science actually. And I live 5 minutes away from Peppercorn. I happen to sort of serendipitously be there the day that the fire and police people were investigating the sign. And I was talking to some of the guys there, which kind of spawned this meeting. So I've been going to Peppercorn Hill for the last about 2 years, really consistently, to the point where I am over the moon about it. Love it, love it, love it. Want nothing more than really just to kind of share what I've got. I happen to have an artistic bent, and so I've been taking a ton of pictures and just kind of taking account of my being there. And every single time and Mary and I were kind of going over this a little bit, I didn't even know about it when I grew up next to it. Literally, if I had known that Peppercorn was 5 minutes away from me, I probably would have changed my major when I went to school, literally. But nevertheless, I still went to Tufts University for biology and English. And because of just this serendipity of the burning of the sign, and my having all of this kind of material, I actually applied back in November for a grant through Upton to create a website, kind of using what I had. Unfortunately, it was declined, but that's okay. But so I figured this could be an amazing opportunity to just kind of take advantage of what I've got, address a need that the town, I believe, has, and just kind of do a general public awareness, educational stint, hopefully to raise money for just replacing the sign. So my hope is that we could do an event at the Upton Library. I'm kind of imagining I have probably like a 45-minute speech, intermission, another 45-minute kind of presentation about everything that I've got. And then we do raffles or bake sales. We can kind of come up with what we want to do for a fundraiser on an actual day. But that's my kind of high-level plan. And I reached out to you guys to kind of start getting this off the ground. I think you've seen some email correspondence back and forth. So now I'm just kind of here to answer questions about that and talk about that openly.
What are you looking to present?
Yeah, so I've got thousands of pictures that I've culled down to hundreds, that I've culled down to about 40 or so. Sometimes the cool part is sometimes the exact same shot in all 4 different seasons and things like this that just highlight that even I going hundreds, I don't think I'm in the thousands of hours on Peppercorn yet, but I've gone there hundreds of hours and I still haven't even seen a fraction of what's there. And so what I see is just this really obvious kind of opportunity to show what is a peppercorn, kind of show what's there, show some of the creatures. Again, I've got pictures of snakes and all kinds of mushrooms and all kinds of different just incredible things that kind of keep appearing when I'm there that blow my mind. And so I would love to kind of share it with everybody. And just, I mean, kids can hopefully come, parents can come and see, like, these are some of the things we could see here. We could go as far as making like a little check mark kind of thing of like, kids go and see, like, can we find a mushroom? Can we find a snake? Can we find a frog and that stuff? So most of it would be actually kind of recounting tales of kind of what is Peppercorn, what can you expect to be seeing when you go there? What does the path kind of look like? And then about 40 or 50 pictures of them. So.
when Stephen and I were talking, I was telling you, we had that lovely ad hoc presentation a few years ago. This is kind of be like our little.
Yeah.
So will we be explaining a picture to the?
Yeah,
We're
the-
talking about, like, formations, we're talking about wildlife, we're talking about flora, fauna.
Yeah, mostly flora and fauna. My expectation from like the kind of design of the presentation would be mostly kind of assuming that the audience has never been to Peppercorn before. And so, okay, if you're coming here for the first time, here are kind of, I'm kind of a gamer at heart. But so kind of here are just the choices that you have, because you start and you go, you walk up the stairs and I've got left or right, like which way do you want to go? If you go this way, there is this. If you go this way, then there is this. And then okay, you take a left and then there's another fork. If you go that way, then there's this. So kind of like a high level description of the experience of going through Peppercorn Hill. I will probably only have, I'm only going to really focus on about a third of it, basically from the opening to the power lines and that general direction. I've got pictures of the actual peak that I'll probably lead with. But a lot of it's going to kind of just be saying my kind of hand-eye account of what you could see there. I don't even really want to go into like the specific species or anything like that, just because if kids want to do that, like great, now go learn on your own and kind of discover these things for yourself kind of stuff. But most of it would probably be about half tales of going, and then the other half is pictures on screen that I'll then talk about, kind of show where they see them. Again, another really appealing part to me about Peppercorn is that you only find some of these in specific places. So like if you want to go there for snakes, for example, you got to go here. Like where is that? If you want to go for mushrooms, you got to go here and here. Where is that? And so kind of just outline the spectacle of Peppercorn as you can kind of go through it. Gotta go. Gotta go. You'll come to the show.
Here's the fix.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. I've been there, I've been to once and down, haven't.
Hey, this is for you then. This is for you.
I don't know how long I've been on this commission again. It's been a while. So I can benefit from this.
Question,
Yeah.
have you ever run into Charlie Ennis, another Milford resident?
It doesn't ring a bell, no.
Okay, because he's been doing some work out there.
Oh, sweet.
The bog.
Yeah, no, the couple different bogs.
The kind of a long and narrow bog.
No, I haven't bumped in on them, but I'd love to.
It might be interesting.
Yeah,
to-
that issue. Yeah. Sounds.
Anyone have any thoughts?
Chris is trying to tell
I'm
us.
sorry.
It might be interesting to include information about to the residents who are vital in Peppercorn. Don Kerr and Francis Walton. They're both deceased at this point. They did a lot to get the area protected.
Chris, were you suggesting you could, it was kind of hard to hear, but include some of the history with Francis Wollaston? That's a nice idea. I don't know if you know that history. Maybe we can find it.
No, I know it's Wollaston Trail. That's as far as I know. Yeah.
We have some things we could maybe share with you that you may or may not know.
No, that'd be great. Yeah. I mean, it technically. I mean, again, I was kind of talking to Mary about this a little bit. The fun or difficult or both part is that we could go kind of as big as we want. I know we could. I was mentioning to Mary, like we could go as far as bringing in like Nipmuc history, like an actual like tribal history kind of perspective to it from a historical perspective. Again, there's like these Wollaston kind of, and even just from a 1700s to 1900s history. Like there's all kinds of stuff that we could do and kind of expand the fundraiser as wide as we want. The hard part will just be choosing what to do.
Do you have some information about the tribal history?
I've done some like kind of precursory glances around at it, but nothing intense. But I mean, just as much as I can find online, pretty much.
I wouldn't want to expand the time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get too long, it's.
Yeah. As a teacher, believe me, I know the kids start going down real quick. That's why I kind of, yeah, in my mind, I imagine the whole event would probably be blocked for like 2 hours or something like that. With basically intro, big chunk of the presentation, an intermission where then people can go to the raffles and those kind of things and donate, etc. And then kind of part two that just rounds off the rest of it. That's another 45 or so. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just, is what it is, but I know if it's too long.
Yeah.
And I know I would be.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm gonna make it shorter too. I mean, there's always more that we could cut. Yeah.
If people think, I just know from other things, when it gets too long, people can. I'm just excited about it. Yeah, I'm good with it.
See the Peppercorn Hill Trail map?
The, like on the online or just at the actual
What's on the
website
website?
itself? Oh, okay.
That's what I was showing.
Oh, yeah, we were taking a peek at it.
It has,
from-
Maybe 15 points of interest.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I kind of even started to break down what my presentation would include in terms of like how many points of interest would I talk about, and even that I just going from the kind of parking lot to the beaver trails and the beaver pond, so to speak. Yeah, I have like 12 or 13 like things that I would want to talk about, and so I could carve that down. But yeah, there's literally so much to talk about, too much to talk about, which makes it an exciting thing to kind of bring to everybody.
Would you consider doing a series? Yeah,
Sure.
I think like 2 45-minute chunks in one night is, you lose the children for sure.
Yeah, no, it could be. I mean, yeah, if we would rather split it up and kind of do it in 2 different consecutive fundraisers or something like that, I'd be happy to do that.
And there could be a field trip component to it too.
I love that. Yeah.
So, or do it on site. You may not need to necessarily, do it in the indoors, but those are just some thoughts. But I think it's a lovely idea. That'd be really cool.
I think to
Well,
use the,
Sounds great.
Wait, just trying to say something.
you need to be
Try something to see if my dogs will eat it. Instant.
Sorry, I couldn't hear. I think Shannon was talking over there too. I couldn't hear you through the vacuum thing.
Sorry, I'm having mic issues. Don't worry.
We can hear you now.
There you go.
I think Marcella covered what I was going to say. I think a field trip to the site would be really engaging.
Yeah.
Okay, happy one with your program.
Part 2 is at the site, we're gonna stay or whatever. And yeah,
I think that would be a great idea.
I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Steve and I were initially, if we want to get this going sooner, we're thinking of maybe looking at dates in March. So it's not too far, and then we maybe do April.
Yeah, once it right around the corner, will be nice. Yeah, yeah.
April and May field trip type thing. And that would kind of get 2 different audiences anyway, the people who want to just sit and watch slides,
Mhm.
people who want to actually would rather go out for a walk.
Okay, yeah, so what's the, what do we do now? Do you make a presentation to Mary or something, or what do we?
Well, I had sent out an email, Marcella wants to talk, Marcella?
Yeah, I'm just seeing something that might be an issue. I know it's a fundraiser, but the land stewardship and open space committees have presented programs in the past, and we've been very adamant about making them free for the public. I don't know how this would play into that.
Well, it would be free, if you need any sale of apples, you don't have to participate.
Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if there were going to be admission charge to the program, or how the fundraising was to take place.
I guess it could be, I was suggesting, donation only, so people wouldn't have to give if they didn't want to. But yeah, if that's something that open space and land stewardship feel strongly about, then that's that's fine.
to use the community center. I think you need to get sponsored by a group in Upton, like conservation. I could be wrong.
You were suggesting it be sponsored by the Conservation Commission, Chris?
To use a community center, you have to have some affiliation with someone in Upton.
Something affiliation.
There should be a liaison with someone in Upton. Is that what you're saying, Chris?
So that
Yeah.
would be us, I take it, and, also, would we be able to preview your presentation before you put it out there?
Yeah, no,
We would have to.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I would, yeah, can totally, I've even got a couple, I was kind of showing Mary a couple of the pictures and things like that, but I can create like a fully structured presentation, and then come another meeting time or something like that, to kind of show it. Can totally do that, yeah.
You have to come to a meeting if.
I'll just share the presentation with you
A
guys.
couple
and
of
do that, yeah.
people who are interested, you can share with them, like,
Mhm.
comfortable with their. You know. It's all fine.
Yeah, you can put a link on
Yeah.
Google Drive or something when you.
Oh, yeah, easy peasy.
I was gonna say, we have some information
Yeah, share whatever you got.
we could share with you, maybe you could share each other's information. Just the more we learn about this, better. I can put a bunch of stuff that I have on my Google Drive.
No, that'd be awesome, yeah,
And
and
you can look through it and you can put more.
I would want to, yeah.
Yeah, so many things about this. Property, make it for us and make it like it's like one time, not.
Yeah, no, that'd be great for like kind of the intro before kind of doing everything like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly, so the things that I kind of, again, Mary and I were kind of chatting about is that what I would kind of, what I want most from you guys pretty much is, pretty much I've got as much, share whatever you've got, but I've got kind of my presentation ready to go. What I'm hoping to have in terms of collaboration with you guys would be kind of 2 people's worth of effort. One to kind of facilitate just the advertising of it, the marketing, kind of putting it on whatever Facebook groups and open space and in the paper. I think we're even mentioning doing stuff like that if we want to do that. And then one other person's role's worth to do to kind of gather the fundraising materials from the community. Again, there's a bunch of different things that we could do, but I'm kind of imagining a raffle is kind of the easiest thing. We could just get donations from local businesses, whether it's gift cards or who knows what.
We would need to research that a bit. I'm not sure what it's legal for the town to do.
Okay.
You know, I just, you know,
Point.
we need to make sure we can even, the town can even do that.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
You know, I think we can probably put out a donation container.
Mhm.
Mary, could you?
Yeah.
I know there's rules about raffles, unfortunately.
Yeah, raffles can be kind of tricky, you know, but donation container or any type of donations are fine.
Well, an auction instead of a raffle, you could put the items out there for like a silent auction.
No, yeah, that's what I'm imagining, yeah.
Well, you know, it's possible, I'm just thinking, you know, disclosure, I'm a Metacomet Land Trust board member. But it's possible that either Sudbury Valley trustees or the Metacomet could handle the fundraising part.
Okay.
Of this, say nonprofits.
That'd be okay.
I can ask SVT, they had SVT holds conservation restrictions on some parcels up there.
Okay.
Metacomet owns one of the parcels up there on the hill. So both the land trust have an interest in.
Great.
That might be the easiest way than to worry about any legalities. I know Metacom has avoided doing raffles. You know, I know there's some legal issues with those that we've had silent auctions. You know, for example.
Yeah, I think.
You have to get some items auctioned, but or if there was a big sales, collect money.
Okay,
Great, so
so you're going to check with SVT and their comment?
yeah, and if there was anyone like who really wanted to try to get raffle items or something, you can send me an email or whatever. Or silent auction items.
Well, don't we have to see if we can really do that first?
Very good.
Okay. You know, Yeah, I could contribute some stuff. Gift cards,
Honey.
honey,
Oh, beekeeper?
I'll be your honey.
yeah. So
We're doing this on-
happy to contribute, a gift card from Red Rock or something,
Mhm.
whatever.
Thank you for coming on school night.
No, I'm a former teacher, don't worry.
Great, I think we're all set for now.
Great, yeah, so what are our next steps as far as I'm concerned?
Well, we gotta check with the couple of things,
Yeah.
of what's legal, whether or not do stuff, and then Mary,
Use the date.
you could get back.
Well,
Yeah, you can.
You have your presentation pretty well, you can send us. And then whatever Mike has for history or whatever, we'll assume it's okay if you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I'll even, especially if we think there's real interest for doing kind of a two-parter and a shorter in-person one with a field trip part B. That sounds awesome, and I will assume that that's what we will do, and so I'll design the presentation to be much shorter than what it is right now. But that sounds great, and I'll go from there.
Very good.
Sweet. All right, thanks guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you for
Yes,
your time.
I'll be back. Thank you guys. See ya.
Get you started.
Yes. I need that time. All right, good luck this weekend, guys.
Thank you.
Incredible, yeah.
Then we have representatives from Wilson Thomas for the high school. Just,
What do we have?
this is for the high school.
Oh, hold on, that's at 8 o'clock. Do we have any Beaver discussion at some point? No, okay.
Beavers passed.
All right, so, yeah, here's Follow Street discussion passed over. It was at 7:40. At 8, there's Nipmuc Regional High School preliminary project discussion. This has to do with the field development, I imagine. Okay, what do we have?
David Lapointe and Andrew Gorman from Wilson Thomas.
Yep.
Okay, so-
Good evening, members of the commission. Andrew Gorman from Beals and Thomas. Also with me is Dave Lapointe. Thank you for accommodating us at the last minute and remotely to present this conceptual plan to you this evening. We have not yet filed the notice of intent, but given the complexity of the project before us, we felt it prudent to come before the commission, introduce you to the development footprint that we're considering, at least on a conceptual manner, and see if the commission had any immediate feedback that we can take back to our design team as we advance this. So we're here on behalf of the Nipmuc Regional High School, who is planning to propose athletic field additions. The area of interest today, I'm not sure if Mary is able to share the plan on the screen. It's a football and track field, and one of the biggest complexities of this is the size of this field is something that is dictated by sport regulation. So we don't have a lot of maneuvering in terms of impact avoidance and minimization as we go through the standards of the Wetlands Protection Act and that of the bylaw. So ultimately this project, it does contemplate some direct wetland impact, both isolated wetlands and a portion of bordering vegetated wetlands, as seen on the right side of the map right there. And again, this doesn't show any grading yet. It doesn't have the whole stormwater apparatus designed yet. But we want to introduce this to the commission as a concept, given the large constraints of the project and the site as it pertains to the wetland resource areas. Certainly, we understand the bylaw does not encourage wetland disturbance, neither does the act, but we do also understand that that does give the commission some authority for us to permit this through the waiver process. We would anticipate that there will be a robust wetland replication effort to compensate both for the BVW impacts and the IVW impacts. We're exploring that currently. We did have a site visit, a preliminary site visit with Mary and the project team on Locust, albeit there was a little bit of snow cover. But we were able to kind of go over and talk through some of the initial areas of concern. So ideally, we're looking at between that C series IVW and the BVW to the map bottom right there, potential areas for wetland replication, understanding that this needs to be further carefully engineered and designed. And we're happy to take any immediate concerns or feedback the commission has as we go to advance this. I would just, stress that this is a design footprint that is very specific in its size requirements, although we are continuing to investigate areas to minimize impacts further. But we're happy to take any immediate feedback or reactions the commission has to the design presented tonight.
Any questions from the committee, or Mary, do you have any?
Well, I'll just point out, so that there's a few isolated wetland, one here that will be completely covered, one here, and then it impacts this one as isolated, and then this is BBW that it would impact. And then just for board members to know that you can see there's the edge of the tree line here. So the existing field is here. So this is an expansion beyond the existing field. So there's the tree line. So it goes pretty much all the way to the property lines on whatever street that is.
About how many square feet of wetland impact will there be?
I have that number. So let me get that for you. So, and these are conservative numbers based on the concept that we're looking at right now. For the D series isolated wetland, that's the one where the cursor is right about there. It's about 1,120 square feet. The C series, which is the one that's clipped a little bit, I believe it's about 960 square feet. And then the bordering vegetated wetland, we're looking at about 1,900 square feet. That's the B series there. So understanding that those areas will have to be accounted for in the wetland replication effort. But certainly what we will present to the commission is those impact numbers tabulated individually, both what's under the bylaw and what's under the Wetlands Protection Act. But certainly we're no strangers that some manner of wetland replication, meaningful wetland replication, would need to be performed for a variance to be granted.
So it's going to be well under 5,000 square feet for BBW.
Yep.
So there's no need for water quality cert.
Yep. We're not anticipating needing water quality cert for this filing, nope. But we are going to be requesting variances from the bylaw.
Anyone else have anything? I have a comment, but I don't want to.
Marcella has her hand raised.
Marcella.
Yeah, this may be a naive question, and I understand that NIPMUC and BVT have different funding sources and different needs, but isn't something exactly like this across the street at BVT?
I believe they have a similar track field, but it's not part of the NIPMUC Regional High School, and it's separate from this project in its entirety. And I'm not personally aware of what the agreements are between those, but we can investigate that if the commission would like us to, as part of our alternatives analysis.
They're two different entities. They're not attached in any way, shape, or form. They're two different entities.
Yeah,
One's regional, one's
yeah.
Amended.
Well, that's understood, but I know that you can make arrangements between organizations to share facilities. So, I'm just wondering if that is an option here, or am I just being unreasonable, or that's not, if it's impossible, I'll just accept that. But it just seems odd that, this is across the street and, both schools could take advantage of it.
Well, Marcella, I think not quite a year ago, maybe 9 months ago, I mean, the school district presented the need for this project. There were some presentations. I'm not sure if they're still available on the website or not, but CPC and town meeting voted to fund this work.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we really, can hold the applicant to go backwards and try to, totally, reinvent this project. It's been vetted by town meeting, funded by town meeting. I think we just have to deal with what we're looking at right now. What's presented to us. But it would be, we can see if those presentations are still available, Marcella. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
no, I remember voting on it and voting to support it, but it just seems weird that there's going to be, similar facilities across the street from one another. And, just, I even think public perception might be, people might wonder about that too, but no, I mean, I'm not going to get agitated about it, but it's just seemed weird.
Oh,
Sandy's gonna.
Sandy, what's up?
I had another question, but I'm assuming that during the fall and the spring, both schools have teams using their fields, so that's what came to my mind. That they need more fields because of that. But my question is, could you remind me again where you thought hypothetically you would do your replication?
Yep. So again, this is still in the conceptual stage, but one area that we're looking at, especially because it's contiguous with the area impacted, is between that area where Mary's cursor is and that IVW and the BVW there. There's a berm that separates them. So we're considering potentially, going in and removing the berm and looking for groundwater elevation to reconstruct the wetland. So that's one of our target areas right now that's being investigated. And again, the designs are still, being hashed out as it pertains to that. But that's
Is that
one
big
of our.
enough there?
We don't have an area takeoff yet. So if it's not, we'll need to replicate elsewhere as well.
Okay.
But we can get a significant square footage in there at the very least. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, I have a somewhat different question and a concern that I'll be raising during a hearing. You might as well hear it now. That's microplastics. Microplastics in runoff. I would really hope you guys spend some time thinking about that and trying to mitigate the impact, especially to nearby wetlands.
Yep, certainly, and we understand that through speaking with Mary that the artificial turf might be a concern the commission has. So we're going to be investigating that as part of our stormwater management strategy, taking a careful look at if there are meaningful mitigation opportunities available for us. So that is something that the project team is evaluating as a whole, and we'll be prepared to answer that carefully and more robustly once we get through into the public hearing process.
Okay, thanks.
Wait,
Chris,
what's the black box?
what's
Yep.
the
So the black
box?
box, I believe, is that one is a storage for the field, and the white one to the left is concessions.
And my second question is, do you know what the carbon footprint is of the AstroTurf versus a green natural field?
I don't have that number offhand. David, is that something that you have? But it's certainly something we can provide to the commission. But David, do you have it offhand?
No, I do not.
But we can come prepared with that, certainly.
Other point, the Patriots play on a regular field, not AstroTurf.
Turf field. It's on turf field.
Yep. I'm sorry if I misunderstood the question. It's proposed as an artificial turf field currently. Yep.
the Patriots play on a regular
Oh,
turf.
I think
They play on grass.
I think they play on
Yep.
grass.
I think they pulled it up a while
Grass.
ago. They put a turf field.
Artificial turf.
Wow. Don't research that. I don't think there's very many turf fields in there because they're dangerous. Any other questions right now? Okay. Yeah, go-
I guess, and just another comment is that the track is also gonna be some kind of rubberized material as opposed to a dirt track.
And I'd be interested to know what the lifespan of a AstroTurf field is.
Generally, the turf material has a lifespan of around 10 plus years. And there are, situations where once the turf field does get worn out to the point of needing to be replaced, they do, or there is a ability to remove the turf material and then install new in its place to have a fresh new surface for the playing field.
Thank you.
And then what's pulled off is it possible does that get recycled at all? Or landfill?
I think there are companies or groups out there that do recycle those turf field materials.
Is that something that we should we should consider the cost of that in advance and work that into the budget for this? Because
Good time.
a lot of people we don't know what the recycling protocols will be 10 years from now, and it may end up not being able to be recycled. I just want to be sure that we have something in place that will allow us to dispose of it properly and have it budgeted for.
I don't think that's it, purview. I think that's the town's purview, Marcella. That would be the town doing that. I don't believe they do.
right. It
we
might
can-
not be, yeah,
we
it might
can
not be
consider-
something that is in the order of conditions process, but I think the project team is receptive.
In as much as the material could affect the wetlands, then we might have something to say about it, but
Certainly.
Well, that's where the microplastics comes
Right.
in. There's an emerging literature on concerns about microplastics, even going up the food chain from invertebrates to birds, let alone what humans are exposed to. I really, I have concerns about these artificial fields just from that standpoint. I don't think we can go too far afield and start talking about things like, whether or not the field will be recycled in 15 years, 10 or 15 years. But I think we can try to be protective of the environment in terms of microplastics. And I really look to like you guys to really dig into that topic. I did a just a simple Google Scholar search about 8 months ago when this was before the CPC. And if you type in microplastics and artificial turf, there were hundreds of articles, published articles dealing with that, most of them in Europe. Europe is way ahead of us in terms of concerns over microplastic and artificial turf. So you might just do that when you've got some spare time and see it's a real issue. And I think there's been some towns in Massachusetts where conservation commissions have denied artificial fields. And I think microplastics may have been one of the concerns. I'll have to look that up again. You know, I would personally really like you to explain how you're gonna minimize transport of microplastics off the field into adjacent wetlands.
We'll certainly think very critically about that as we approach the notice of intent process. Has the commission permitted something of this nature before? And if so, what mitigation measures have you seen in the past?
We have not. The only thing that is somewhat similar to this might have been the community center playground, but it's a very small area. Different type of artificial turf. It really isn't turf. It's playground rubber, some sort of material, and there was no concern mentioned at that point about microplastics. But I think artificial turf is different, in terms of microplastics, and there's also PFAS issues. I don't know if your vendor, can provide you with some information about whether or not the blades, the turf blades, are treated with PFAS containing compounds or not, or if they're using something different. But you've probably heard of that issue as well as the microplastic issue.
Yep. So we'll think, as I said, we'll think critically about that. And I'm not sure, Dave, if we typically submit like an MSDS or MSDA sheet with something like this of the materials, but we'll think carefully about how to best address that to the satisfaction of the commission.
Yeah, we've been working with
I'll certainly be asking whether or not the material that's proposed for use for the turf contains PFAS or not.
Yeah, we have been working with a specific company regarding the synthetic turf field materials, and we can reach out to them to see if they can provide some information on that.
Okay. Any other questions, folks? Alrighty. Okay, well, thank you for your presentation, and
Yeah.
we'll look forward to an NOI.
Yeah, we appreciate the commission taking the time to hear us at this conceptual stage, and Mary for braving the snow with us the other day, and we will be before you soon. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Patriots play on turf. They don't play on grass.
I'm gonna research. Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
the
awesome.
Denver.
Yeah,
that field
the
in
Patriots were widely criticized by the NFL because when they played teams that were really fast, they soaked the field
Oh.
so that they couldn't get traction and everything else, and so they had 20 years ago, they went to turf.
But most fields in the NFL are
Turf.
grass.
No.
I have to use. Okay.
I'm just telling you.
All right.
They're mostly turf.
Yeah, it
It's
says,
not what it was back in the day.
Okay.
Turfs are very different today. The artificial turfs than they were a long time ago. They're very different. They've got all different kinds too.
Okay.
I'm not sure Netmark's gonna get top of the line.
I don't know. There's an awful lot of literature out there, especially in Europe, the hot topic, and also I think at least in European literature, the turf fields that they play, mostly football, European
Yeah,
football. There's more injuries on artificial turf than natural turf.
Yeah, most of the stadiums are artificial turf.
and it does say for the stadium there that this process ensures that all components of the field avoid being sent to landfills in the replacement of the surface. So it's designed,
Right.
I think they use something called field turf, but that's all the comments you made, Mike, are things that are top of mind of companies that are doing these type of installations. But it's worthwhile making sure that we have
Yeah.
good quality in
yeah,
Upton,
Right.
not second rate.
I should say,
And the microplastic, I think, is it's an emerging contaminant. You know, it's like 30 years ago or 40 years ago, you know, it was, well, before that it was DDT. Then it was PCBs. Now it's,
It's like Roundup.
some of the pesticides, but
Now we all have it in our organs.
we do, in our brains
That's
too.
right.
It's crazy. And then we have a Secretary of Health who says nothing about it, you know, federally. Anyway, I don't want to go into that much, but, okay, well, back to, the agenda, administrator's report.
Yeah, so I think most of the things on here were covered by agenda items for the most part. Except for East Street. We issued an order of conditions for that. That was on our agenda last time, a single family house. First of all, National Grid called because it's near that easement, and they were concerned that it was too close, but it's not really, so they were satisfied. And then as I was going to issue that order for East Street and the ALDP, I had asked him to come up with a set of plans that showed the 20,000 foot disturb area. When he sent me the plans, I was almost laughing because he had to draw the line so close to the house that they wouldn't have any yard at all practically. You know, it was like 30 feet away from the house on all sides. I'm like, there's no way they're gonna do that. I mean, I can make him do that, but then when the people move in, they're just gonna mow up the whole area anyway, because they're gonna want a line. So I basically, I told him you should put the whole house under the order of conditions, which doesn't have the 20,000 square foot requirement. And just waive the ALDP for this situation because there's a wetland nearby. And that got me just thinking more and more about our stormwater law, and I'm hoping to put something together so that we can just revamp it. I think the 20,000 is just too tight. And I don't like the inconsistency with the fact that you can do an NOI and avoid it. And so I think, anyway, that'll be next week. I'm thinking of ways, you know, maybe up our threshold to an acre, but then maybe require people who do an NOI to also abide by the same standards that we have under our stormwater bylaw. And then it'd just be consistent. There wouldn't be, would make more sense. So that if we'll see if I get this done for this town meeting. Probably not, but maybe we can put a placeholder in the warrant and get it done. See. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, the only site visit that wasn't just looking at 30 Bennett Street. They still haven't done their Phragmites or anything yet, so we'll see. Yeah.
All right.
That's pretty much it for me.
Administrative report, meeting minutes and signing documents.
And see in minutes.
Yes, let me share my screen.
Oh, she might not have said. I looked at them, they were good, but I want to look at them too.
Did anyone have comments or anything from the last meeting minutes while I pull them up?
Lauren, did you send them out by any chance?
I thought I did last week.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, good. Gets confusing when there's a planning board as well. All right, where are they? Okay. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, here are the meeting minutes.
Possible.
Let's see what date or day is coming up.
Let's see, here, there. Well, there's 12/10 and 12/17 Conservation Commission minutes.
What date were they sent out?
14th of January.
Oh, yeah, we already approved those, so I think, Lauren, it would have been the minutes from the 14th.
Yeah, we're looking at the January 14th minutes. I think the
So-
original agenda that we had posted still said the December 10th and 17th, but when we added in the Nipmuc discussion, I changed the
Yeah, it says minutes 114. Yeah.
okay.
But I'm not seeing those, Lauren.
I don't see one.
So maybe they didn't get.
No.
sent. Why don't we just pass over them and we'll work on them next meeting.
Sorry about that.
No, we're not. We're
All
good.
right, and then
Expense vouchers and financial update.
yeah, there weren't any expense vouchers, but we do have a balance sheet. And checked all this on Vadar recently, so it should be up to date. Not much has changed, really. And yep, that's all for me.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, open space committee update. Bill's around. Bill. Guess not. Okay. Land Stewardship Committee update.
I'm here. I'm sorry. I was
Oh,
trying
Bill.
I'm
Sorry, Bill.
using the wrong button. I really don't have anything to add except Mike, you can speak to the donation of the property on near Warren Brook.
Okay, yeah, well, the commission talked about that, and I sent an email to Dennis, interim town manager, with that information. I haven't heard back from Dennis, but at this point, I think it's in his court. I did talk to the owner, and they're happy that the commission, would like to accept the donation. Maybe that Dennis has to put it on an agenda for the select board, and the select board has to discuss it. If that happens, the commission or open space or both should probably be there to answer any questions.
Where's that land, Mike?
It's along the Grafton, Upton border,
Oh, never mind. I remember now. Thanks.
Warren Conservation Area. So it's landlocked deep in the woods.
Yeah, I remember now. I just forgot.
Bill, do you have anything else for open space?
That's it. There's been no movement on any of the projects that we would be working on.
Thank you. Stewardship, there's not much to update there either. I did send an email to Dennis concerning the Robertson Trail Bridge issue. And his reply back was that well, there were three alternatives that I kind of presented to Dennis. One was to do nothing and kind of just either abandon the project or just put it on hold. Second was to ask for more funding from town meeting or the CPC, most likely CPC, for the bridge. And the third was to redesign it with basically it would become a wooden bridge instead of the current design, which has an I-beam. And Dennis's reply to that email was, go for additional funds for the design that we already have. And I guess what people think about that, I'm willing to go to the CPC. They meet the first Wednesday of the month, February, and ask for maybe an additional like $70,000.
Yeah.
And see how that flies.
Probably like 11. Yeah.
I agree, Mike.
Is that
Yeah.
gonna be enough?
I think so. Plus, we could, I mean, the Concom already, committed to, I think, 7,500 or something like that, and we might have some private funding too. I think 70 would be probably a safe number. To ask for, maybe even a little less than that. We've got about $105,000 still available. 70 would get us to 175. And then the low bid, I think, was 155, right? Mary, I think. Yeah, so that gives us like a $20,000 cushion. So,
Yeah, sure.
is that all right? Would anybody do? I guess I'd make a motion that the commission would like to request an additional $70,000 in CPC and Community Preservation Act for the trail bridge. That would be our first alternative. And if that's declined, then we would have to consider either abandoning the project or we're going with a wooden bridge design.
I second that, Mike.
So Chris seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Roll call vote, Mike, aye.
Actually, I want
Oh,
to interrupt,
no.
I'm sorry, because I thought Dennis's recommendation was go to the CPC, and if they don't, or can't do all of it, or don't want to do any of it, then select the money directly from the town.
That's true. Yeah, he did, yeah.
So if you want to follow that recommendation, you ought to amend your motion.
Well, I think let's
Yeah,
let's see what CPC does, and then we can revisit it. If
Well, you're going to meet with CPC on Wednesday. You should have some idea of what the appetite is, because you're going to have to, if you are going to go with that second recommendation, you may need to do that, at least to submit something.
to get the article in.
Placeholder on.
Well, that makes sense. I understand a friendly amendment to note that the commission would like to seek either CPC funding or other funding from the available town funds for the trail bridge at an extra 70,000.
I second that.
Is that okay, Bill? I'm not sure what this motion is going to be like, but
Yeah, no, I think that covers it.
That's Laura and help. We're going to need to fix the motion a little bit. But okay, thanks, Bill. So I'll vote aye.
Tom,
Alan, I.
Sandy, I.
Shannon, I.
Marcella, I.
So I think that's a unanimous vote of the commission. Thank you. Other land stewardship, maybe we can talk about this later, but I'm not sure if it's on the agenda, but there's a couple of articles that
Oh, where you emailed.
and one of them is a land stewardship article. Actually, one of them is kind of an open space article too, Bill, which if you have any comments on that, that would be good too. Let's go through those two articles. One is for the Whitney Conservation Area tree removal.
This is the West Heights one.
Okay, well, we can do this one first since it's up. This one is for Forest Heights. Actually, is it on the agenda to give a Forest Heights update or no? We can do it here under open space.
Under open space, yeah, sorry.
Okay. Forest Heights. Since our last meeting, one of the issues was the parking area location. And here I'm representing Metacomet. Metacomet and SRT sent an email to the DCS grant administrator, Vanessa, about the location of the parking area, and Vanessa basically said, she's good with whatever the town decides, but the commission decides, however it's worked out with, between the commission, potentially the tribal interests and the abutter. So she kind of withdrew her opposition to the other corner near the abutter. And she's okay with whatever we end up deciding. So what Medicom and S3T would like to do is modify the plan, the site plan, to add the other corner as a potential area for the parking lot. So the final recorded plan would show both areas, and the CR would say that either area, one of the two areas will be selected for the parking area, and that will be determined later. So eventually the commission will likely have management control over this area, and then that can be decided by the commission.
Yeah, good.
So does that sound
Yeah.
okay to everybody?
Yeah.
So we'll kind of punt on the decision, but the CR and the plan will leave the options open. And the second thing with Forest Heights is that when the DCS was reviewing the Draft Conservation Commission, they raised an issue that they would like to see the Forest Heights property put under the care, custody, control of the Conservation Commission. Now, I've been kind of under the impression over the years that the select board can do that with a 2/3 vote of the select board. But when town council looked at this, they wanted it to go to town meeting. So this article here before you, this draft, it reflects that, and it's an article that will go to the May town meeting, asking the town to place Forest Heights under the care, custody, control of the commission. And the reason we're doing this is town council didn't believe the select board had the authority to do it. At least they didn't. When this was like in December, this issue came up.
Mike, is that
Yeah.
going to affect all our previous agreements? All our other care, custody, and control?
I don't. No, I don't. You mean other properties?
Yeah, properties.
No, I think that some of the properties, most of the properties that were like purchased in part with grants or with CPC funds,
Okay.
they're already under the control of the commission. There's some
Okay.
that aren't, like Stephens, and there's some open space parcels like at the Howard Glen open space.
Yep.
That's not under the care, custody, and control of the commission, although the selectmen allow us to manage it.
Right.
Like
I just
some that have
didn't
to be
want this to open up a box of worms.
I don't think it will. And,
Oh, good.
But anyway, it
Thanks.
was, the reason we're proposing this is because the conservation restriction staff asked for it. So any other questions? I guess I'd ask for a motion to submit this to the select board and the interim town manager.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call vote. I'm gonna abstain.
Tom, I.
Shannon, I.
Sandy, I.
I think Chris, look at I.
And Marcella?
I think I have to abstain, although,
Oh, as an abutter, yeah.
yeah. Question, am I not allowed to vote on this at town meeting?
No, you could vote it in a town meeting. Sure. And you might even,
I think you can vote on it here.
Yeah, you're not gaining anything.
Right,
Yeah.
you're not.
You know, there's no material
yeah,
gain.
I just don't want there to be any perception of illicit behavior. So
Yeah.
as long
I
as it,
agree. I hear you, that's why I'm abstaining too. I've already, provided Denise with an explanation of my role in this project, so I probably could vote on this, but I'm not. But that's, even with, Chris, did you vote aye or
She voted aye.
you abstained? Did you abstain? Okay. So that's 3 abstentions and 4 yeses, so the motion passes. Thank you. And then the other one, Mary,
Think about it up now, the trees.
yeah, this is just to, to remove, we talked about the trees along the trail, Whitney already. I think you folks asked me to ask for 15, if I remember right.
Yeah.
The last meeting.
Should that be an and between the?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Very good. I saw that after I sent it.
Yeah.
So it's emerald ash borer and 2 oaks. There's 4 there instead.
I didn't know if it was tree on tree. Two oaks killed the 9 ash.
That was my test, just to see if anybody was actually going to. And actually, the 2 oaks are actually on the abutting property, but they both pose a risk to the town land, and I think if we're going to do this, we're probably going to need access from the abutter. So I think it might be kind of a fair trade. We'll take your hazard trees down if you let us access all these trees from your property. So I think we're okay there. So the ash are all on town land, and the 2 oaks are on just over the line, and there's a stone wall. We're just on the other side of the stone wall. Have any questions about this?
No.
Okay, entertain a motion to submit this as a recommended article.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, Mike, aye.
Tom, aye.
Ellen, I.
Sandy, I.
Shannon, I.
Marcella, aye.
Chris, for you and I? Yes, Chris was another. Okay, thank you. All right, I think that's all I have for that. Discussion items, COC 144 Westboro Road.
Yes, so this is the one where we required easements for maintenance of the culvert underneath the driveway. And last time he came back and he had easement for one property but not the other, and we approved one, and he has the easement for the other. I can pull it up. And check to make sure the language is the correct language. So. Owns 142, Antola owns 144, they share a common driveway. The grantee requires limited access, repairs, etc. on 144. That's what was needed. Okay. And everybody, did you guys all sign it? Yes, perfect.
That's easy.
So we just need a motion to approve the certificate of compliance.
Second.
Any discussion? None, voice. Oh, Mike, aye.
Tom, aye.
Ellen, I.
Sandy, I.
Shannon, I.
Marcella, aye.
Put her hand up for it.
Chris was an aye. Okay. Next, crosswinds easement language.
Great, so if you remember, this is relatively complex, but the 30-foot wide access easement in crosswinds it basically was a utility easement. It didn't allow for any pedestrian use. And cross the attorneys at Eastland believe they have the ability to grant the proper type of access. And this is what our attorney recommended. And he just wanted us to make sure that it includes everything we want. So I highlighted it, maybe I need to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so said easements are conveyed to the town and include the non-exclusive right of the public to use such access for the purpose of passive recreation. The town, acting by and through its conservation commission, may establish, maintain, repair, replace trails, trail markers, and other similar amenities in such easements, and may establish rules and regulations for the public's use thereof.
Would a kiosk be? Does it say sign, trail markers?
Trail is similar amenity, yeah, maybe
signage.
Similar amenities.
maybe we can ask them to include, signage, let's just kiosk.
Yeah, given the
Yeah,
issues. We need to be explicit.
yeah. Yeah, so this is our lawyer looked at it, this hasn't gone back to Eastland. I know when I originally mentioned to her that we might want a little bit, because she came up with language that was very simple, and I think he expanded on it. And so we're gonna send this back, and she might say, well, we can't do this, we gotta have a conversation, so.
Yeah.
What does non-exclusive right of the public mean?
No, in other words, the public
Right, cannot be.
the only one. No, this is not exclusive use.
Right.
Yeah.
Shannon, where's our local lawyer?
Yes.
Sorry.
Repeat the question.
So,
What is
He hasn't
non-exclusive?
gotten there yet in school.
it's,
We're wondering what the words, the non-exclusive right of the public means.
to use such a.
What is
Means that
non-exclusive?
the public has right to use it, but it's not exclusive to just the public.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
So in other words, the owner of the property could use it as well. Is that?
Yeah. Non-exclusive right of the public. The public has a right, but it's not only their right, it's whoever else has an interest in the property.
Okay. Thank you.
I think that's the main,
I entertain a motion to that Mary can. The commission has approved this language with edits. And that Mary continue to coordinate it with the town council in Eastland.
So moved.
Second,
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, my guy.
Tom,
Al and I.
Sandy, I.
Shannon and I.
Marcella, I.
And Mary, just the other end of Dogwood Drive, is that still out there?
yeah,
I know that's gonna be a tougher one probably.
yeah, I don't think they wanna touch that. Eastland.
What are we gonna do?
What we're gonna do.
What does town council think about that?
I actually haven't talked to him on the phone. I did send him a whole list of issues and concerns with the. Yeah, maybe I just need to have a conversation.
That's the point. That's
It's another point. Well, the point is fairly narrow, so you can just step over it. Right?
well, actually out west, that was always a big issue. It's a landlocked land and they just and I think it was state, so it's federal, but these hunters put a ladder over a corner so they could step on it, right?
Yeah.
And the other landowner sued him, and it was held up in court that they had the right to cross over it.
As long as they didn't step on it.
Because what it is, out there, you can only squares, right?
Yeah.
And this middle square is open to the public, but it's bordered by, private landowners, and that was like their own private hunting area or whatever. But, the point, so these hunters put a ladder over and one from here to there without touching
That piece of
anything, and the judge upheld that as something, it's a term, something about point or corner crossing, there's a term for it, but I believe it was state, but I think it was in Montana. I was just literally reading about it, and it made me think about this issue.
It's really helpful to research that. It was definitely like a oversight, in my opinion. Everyone looked at it, the commission looked at it over the years, this project was going on forever. Planning board looked at it, planning board engineer looked at it, and no one picked it up, so. And it really is a problem. And the other thing is we don't really know where that point is because, it hasn't been surveyed. Who knows? Maybe the way they built it, the point is, in the cul-de-sac and don't have an issue.
Well, that's true, because we have to see on the plan, because the town will normally have a right of way that goes in 8-10 foot below the corner, and that what would make that route.
It could be in the if you look at the your aerial imagery, how it superimposes over the plan. I mean, it's sometimes it's off. It's really off here.
Right.
That cul-de-sac on the plan is halfway into their yard.
Yeah.
The way it's overlaid right now. Yeah, that handy Mary.
Yeah, I can, with your map, I can.
So, maybe this, if this is really can't get anywhere easements, then maybe we should have it surveyed and see exactly what on the ground situation is.
Yeah, the road, of course, who knows, so here's the point. And this is the gentleman who would love to have it surveyed so he could know whether his driveway was.
Yeah, the others,
There are some stakes in the woods though that he showed me right here, somewhere in here. Just little garden stakes though, they didn't look like surveyor stakes.
so the corner
It's right there.
Wait to it. It's so stiff. I don't believe there's a point here, or there's a stake where rod.
Nothing there.
There's nothing there. There is down here, this corner.
This one?
Yeah, that one exists, but that other one doesn't exist. And then up here doesn't.
Do we have this corner?
I don't think so.
Because this whole thing is weird, like it looks like it should be in the trees, but where exactly that is. Like these 2 points. And this is where it looks like that guy's, like, he thought the driveway was in the town right away, I think. But I think Bill said that it definitely is not, but it's definitely on the neighbor's property. But it's really close. Let's see the driveway. It's really.
So, I mean, if we hire a surveyor, that'd be a number of points.
Right.
And it might be more than a few points, because if you've got, if things don't meet up properly, it's hard to just, start at one area, unless you've got you know, index points for that
Right.
development.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, Mayor, talk to town council about it. And see if there's any way we can convince Eastland Partners to help us out here. Maybe the first step is a survey, I don't know. Could ask town council what they think.
Okay.
And then we're gonna research, the Google point or corner crossings.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up, I think I have thrown that away, I better look it up, and if I find it, I'll send it to you. It was, yeah, and I believe it was the state of Montana. I should have that.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
thanks, Mary.
I was looking online, the case that Tom was referring to apparently affected 6 Western states.
Yeah.
And according to the internet, there's no similar litigation or rules governing Massachusetts. And that decision in the Western states may have been appealed and could be headed to the Supreme Court. It's a little unclear whether or not that's happened or happening.
Yeah, I'll look up what I had, but I knew it was out west and yeah, and I don't know if it mentioned about it being appealed or not, but. Well, at least you found it.
Good to know. But let's just, my 2 cents would be, Mary, let's not forget about us, still try to.
Yeah.
Well, we still have Eastland, talking to us.
Exactly.
Try to get a resolution somehow. See, next is tree policy, I think the last thing on the agenda, even,
Yeah, and see if we had something in here from. That was a couple meetings ago. Did you want to talk about that tonight, Mike? Do you want?
we could pass over this. So ready to talk about?
I'm sure. Last year. Sorry, I didn't put it in the Google Drive. Didn't refresh. It's a long time. Tree policy.
Are you saying Del Bono or something?
That's it, actually. This is it, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of.
Looks like that's too much to look at.
And that maybe for another meeting, somebody just emailed around MSMCP today, all their snow policies, like whether they'll approve wetland, like if a wetland delineation came before us now, so a lot of towns say we won't even look at it if there's snow on the ground. We gotta wait till the snow melts. And I was thinking that too. What if we got this huge delineation right now? I wouldn't want to review that.
We would.
So we might want to think about having an official policy, and some towns even go so far as to say, we will not look at any wetland delineation from November, through the end of March. That seems a little extreme.
Yeah, I would
But
just.
December, January, February, a lot of times you can't really, can't tell.
Unless you can't, if you can't, evaluate the soils.
Right.
See, that's
That's
right.
weather
Yeah.
committee.
Yeah.
I think there are plenty of time to November,
Yeah, in November, you
Even
could
if-
not think
even some Decembers.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes. So that'll be, yeah, I'm gonna look at those and see if anything looks like it's.
We've never really had a problem here. with a, I don't recall. An applicant or a wetland scientist.
Just really trying to push something
Demanding
through.
that,
Right. Yeah, hopefully they'd just be willing to say, okay, yeah, can we at least wait till March to?
Right, other topics not reasonably anticipated by the government. Anything else? Folks?
No.
How about, motion to adjourn?
Moved. Second.
Chris has her hand up.
Chris?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, aye.
Okay, so that's to adjourn, Chris? Okay.
Aye.
All right, good night.
Good night, everybody.